My name is Alex. For the last 7 years, I had been the silent, unwavering financial pillar of my family. It all began subtly, with small contributions, then grew to cover my parents' internet, car insurance, and even their winter heating bills. My father had encouraged this, saying, "Now you can finally take care of your family." I never complained, even when it meant canceling my own vacations or eating peanut butter for lunch while wiring money for someone else's cable bill. It was just what a good son did. I was the reliable one, the invisible support. My brother, Mark, was different. He was the dreamer, the one who dropped out of college, couch-surfed, and explored himself. When his ski business failed, I let him live with me rent-free for 9 months and even paid for his therapy. When my mother needed dental surgery, I covered the $3,400 bill. When my father's old car broke down, I co-signed the lease for a new one. I was always there, always providing. This dynamic was rarely acknowledged. When I shared a personal success, like a promotion or a raise, I would receive a minimal response. However, when Mark's new girlfriend, Sarah, made cookies, the family chat would explode with comments and heart emojis. Last July, I flew to surprise my mom for her birthday, only to find they had left for a wine tasting with Sarah, leaving a note to make myself comfortable and not even saving me a sliver of cake. Still, I continued to pay the gas bill the following month. It was what I was taught, to provide, to be the stable one. Christmas Eve approached, and I was looking forward to returning home after not seeing my family in person since the previous Christmas. I envisioned the familiar smells and traditions, the warmth of being together. I booked a $540 one-way flight, left work early, and skipped a corporate bonus dinner, all because family mattered. Upon arrival, snow still clung to my hair as I entered the dining room, carrying a slightly damp gift bag with my father's favorite whiskey. The first thing I noticed was a small pink sticky note on the back of a dining chair. It was for Sarah, Mark's fiancée. My mother casually explained, "She's new here. We figured you'd be fine standing." Standing, like a waiter, or worse, I felt like I didn't belong. Quietly, I replied, "Sure," grabbed my luggage, and left. 31 minutes down the ice road, my phone rang. It was my sister. Her text read, "So sensitive." It wasn't a big deal. My heart pounded, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Instead, I opened my banking app and paused the family support transfers. It was done. But then, something profound happened at 9 o'clock 4 minutes that evening that truly changed everything. The sticky note was just a match. The underlying issues had been festering for years. I pulled into a petrol station, watched the snow accumulate, and cranked up the heat until my ears hurt. I realized I had always been the one who made things easy for them. My brother's words echoed in my mind, "You don't even have kids." I then accessed our family group chat and scrolled through months of conversations. I noticed a clear pattern. My achievements were met with minimal interest, while Mark and Sarah received overwhelming attention. They had moved heaven and earth to accommodate her, even giving her my chair. That sticky note was not just about seating. It was a message. I was no longer needed. So, I made some calls. I canceled automatic transfers and informed my accountant that I would halt the family trust donations I had been making for years. For the first time in years, I acted selfishly. I ordered spicy Thai takeout and watched Netflix alone in my hotel room. For a moment, I felt nothing but clarity. Then my father called at 9 o'clock 4 minutes. I hesitated, then answered. He said I had left, that my mom was upset. I calmly reminded him that she was the one who gave my chair away. He tried to dismiss it, claiming she didn't mean anything by it. I brought up Mark asking me to fund his wedding. Silence. He then sighed deeply, saying, "You know how things are. Mark is not as fortunate as you." I laughed, responding, "No, Dad. Mark's recklessness. I'm responsible. There's a difference." He replied with the familiar phrase, "Don't be dramatic." I closed my eyes. I told him I was done being the person who worked 60 hours a week so everyone else could pretend, done being their safety net. He claimed they never asked for it, but I retorted that they expected it. I told him that I hadn't been okay with it for a long time. Then I spoke my truth. Son, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm spending it alone in a motel next to a gas station because you needed Mark's fiancée to feel welcome more than you needed your son at the table. He said nothing. I ended the call. For days passed without contact from him. I had no intention of returning. But then, 3 days after Christmas, Mark called. My immediate thought was to ignore it, but curiosity took over. I answered, and he hesitantly asked if I had canceled the family support transfers. I confirmed it. He then mentioned that things were tight and the January mortgage had bounced. He softly suggested we talk. I laughed. Oh, now you want to talk? What changed? Mark ran out of post-it notes. He claimed it was just a seat, but I countered that it was a clear message from him and Mom. I hung up. 5 minutes later, my mom texted, asking to meet for coffee. I didn't respond. That night, my father called and left a voicemail, suggesting Sunday dinner, a face-to-face talk. My old ritual, pot roast, apple pie, everyone pretending they weren't quietly bleeding me dry. Something within me screamed to go, not for reconciliation, but to end it. I arrived on Sunday evening, knocked once, and let myself in as always. The house was unusually clean, as if staged for a peace treaty. My mother greeted me with a smile. My father sat in his armchair, and Mark and Sarah were on the couch. Sarah avoided my gaze. My mother said dinner was almost ready, but I stated, no need. I'm not here to eat. I'm here for one reason, to say some things I should have said years ago. My mother tried to interject, but I stopped her. I told her she didn't get to sweetheart me after what she pulled. I laughed at the idea that this was just about a chair. That was the cherry. This is 20 years of you all treating me just as the dependable one. Never seen as a person, only as a solution. Mark scoffed, calling me dramatic. I turned to my father. You let it happen. You watched me work overtime, pay your bills, cancel my vacations while you threw parties for this fool when he remembered to tie his shoes. You let him sit in my seat and ask me for money in the same breath. And the worst part, you all thought I'd just keep doing it. My father claimed they never asked me to. Exactly, I replied. You expected it because I never said no. Mark chimed in, you were always the one with money. You don't even have kids. It wasn't a big deal. Fury welled inside me. You know what is a big deal? Working a 60-hour week so Mom can have cable and you can plan a rustic vineyard wedding for your Tinder match. I was good enough to pay for your therapy, but not good enough to sit down at the dinner table. Got it. My mother looked on the verge of tears, saying they didn't mean to hurt me. You didn't mean anything. That's the problem. You never thought, not about me, only about what I could give. The room fell silent. I pulled an envelope from my jacket and tossed it on the table. It was their taxes. I wouldn't be doing them this year. My mother was bewildered. I had transferred the car lease back to their names, canceled the insurance, and their health coverage under my name would expire in 60 days. Oh, and Mark, I added, that wedding fund you asked about? Spend it on chairs because I'm not coming. My mother exclaimed I wasn't serious. Oh, I'm dead serious. You made room for someone else. I'm choosing to make space for myself now. I walked out. They didn't follow. They knew this time. I expected silence, but what I didn't expect was how peaceful it felt. It was a silence that protected me like armor, free from buzzing phones, guilt-tipped requests, and endless pleas for help. On Monday, I went to work with a smile that surprised the receptionist. I felt like I had won the lottery. For the first time in years, I drank hot coffee, ate lunch without checking my bank balance after transferring money, and slept through the night without a text from Mark. By Wednesday, the text started. My mother pleaded for me to come that weekend. I ignored it. Then Mark texted, complaining about their dental insurance and asking for my Hulu login. I blocked him. My father called, leaving a voicemail that began calmly, but ended as a threat. He couldn't understand how I could abandon my family after everything they had done for me. I laughed. Everything they had done for me? Like giving my chair to a stranger or accepting every financial bailout while still treating me like a troublesome child when I set boundaries. They expected me to cave, but instead I thrived. I signed up for a 2-week photography retreat in Oregon, rejoined my gym, took long walks, and deleted the family group chat. I went out with coworkers and, for the first time, truthfully explained why I was constantly exhausted. My family is a financial black hole, and I finally cut the cord. Someone raised a glass in respect, and I realized respect was about saying enough. Exactly 2 weeks after Christmas Eve, my father called again at 9:04. The number was blocked, but I answered. He sounded older, tired. He told me my mother had collapsed in the kitchen from dehydration and stress, crying and asking for me. He added, "You've made your point, loud and clear. But maybe now you can stop punishing us." My blood boiled. Punishing you? You think I'm punishing you because I stopped being your ATM? He tried to bring my mother's tears into it, but I shut him down. He then quietly admitted she had told him about the chair, that it was her idea so Sarah wouldn't feel awkward. And it never occurred to anyone that I might feel unwelcome? I asked. He mumbled, "We didn't mean it that way," and I responded, "That's the problem. You never mean it that way." But it's always the same story. I give, you take. After a long pause, he whispered, "I miss you, son." Something twisted inside me, not pain, but clarification. "I miss who you used to be, too," I replied, "the me before you sold me out for convenience." I hung up. Days later, I received a message from Sarah, Mark's now wife. She apologized, stating she hadn't known the full story. She explained that Mark had told her I would be late and wouldn't stay long, that I was wealthy and wouldn't care about family matters anyway. She was sorry. The truth hit me. Mark knew I was coming. He instructed her to take my chair, knowing exactly what it would do. He wanted it. He had always resented what I represented: responsibility, success, repercussions. He was the turmoil they cherished. I was the anchor they relied on and resented. Not anymore. The next week, my parents sent an official email titled Resolution Proposal with a PDF document outlining budgets, timeframes, and independence plans. It was a desperate business pitch, begging for a second chance and requesting 3 additional months of transitional support. I deleted it. By March, the calls stopped. By April, I had stopped using all shared accounts. By May, I had arranged a solo trip to Barcelona. Between the flight and my first taste of tapas, I discovered something profound. I didn't need them. They didn't define me, legitimize me, or own me. Barcelona was loud, not from traffic or crowds, but because the world seemed louder when I stepped out of someone else's shadow. I explored the Gothic Quarter with my phone in airplane mode, no family chats, no texts from Mark. Just the sound of my feet on ancient cobblestones and the exhilaration of earned silence. Each night, I watched the sunset from a different part of the city. On the 4th night, a stranger with wild locks and unapologetic eyes joined me at a rooftop pub. We talked for hours. When she asked where I was from, I corrected myself. Used to be a family man. Now I'm just a man. She laughed. Sounds like freedom. I nodded. Back home, life continued. I was promoted to lead systems architect, a coveted position. My manager told me I had been under the radar too long. People are starting to notice. For years, I had discreetly kept things together at work and home. Now, people needed and respected me for more than just a utility. In June, an unexpected wedding invitation arrived. Mark and Sarah's rustic vineyard wedding on July 16th. I let it sit on the counter. Inside, next to the RSVP card, was a handwritten note from Sarah. She hoped I would come, suggesting Mark still didn't realize what he did and might need to see me stand firm. I stared at it, then threw it in the trash. On July 16th, I spent the day on a beach in Santa Cruz, riding a rented bike along the cliffs. I didn't check my phone until after sunset. 1 missed call and 1 message from Mom. He kept glancing at the door all night as if he were waiting for you. I didn't respond. It wasn't about punishing him. I was done playing savior for those who never reserved a seat for me. August brought a surprise. I ran into Sarah, now Mark's wife, at a bookstore. She looked thin, pale, like someone trying to smile through shattered glass. She admitted they had moved back in with my parents. Her parents had offered, saying it was temporary, as Mark's job hadn't worked out. She looked down, saying he wasn't handling things well. I thought, not my problem. Then she looked up, her eyes red, and said, "I just wish you were his brother." That stuck with me, not out of pity for him, but because for the first time, someone noticed. I just nodded and left with my book. In September, on my birthday, a delivery arrived with no return address. Inside a simple black box was a folded card with one line, "You were right about everything. I'm sorry." Inside was the whiskey I had packed for Christmas Eve, still sealed. They had never opened it. I sat there, staring at the bottle, then walked to my balcony and opened it, pouring a glass for myself. By November, I had sold my condominium and moved out of state. New location, larger windows, new furnishings, no ghosts. The final step, I changed my phone number and deleted old backups. The last bridge was burned. Before I did, I sent a message to my mom, dad, and Mark. There's no space for negotiation. This is the final communication you will receive from me. I am not angry. I'm just finished. I've given you everything I have for years. Time, money, love, and patience. You used it. I spent it and called it normal. Then you left me standing. Literally. I'm not standing anymore. I am walking away for good. No hard sentiments, just rigid bounds. Goodbye. I finally let go peacefully. And now, the most important part, I do not miss them. Not the guilt, not the manipulation, not the awkward silences that followed each no I dared to express. Not the invisible weight of being the family support beam as they built castles on my back. I miss the person I used to be around them, the guy who mistakenly believed that being needed meant being loved. He is gone now. Someone more powerful, smarter, freer, has taken his place. Maybe I missed Christmas supper, and perhaps I stood outside a house I had paid for with a gift no one desired. But walking away, that was the best gift I ever gave myself. And this is the last gift I will ever offer.